Alright, so the next step, once you are here and on the edit page, which if you're not sure how to get to this page, go back and check the list of tutorials and you'll see a tutorial on how to get to the edit page. So, we are editing the About the Library page right now. So, you'll see this here, about all that, same thing. So we're going to touch on a few things. We're going to touch on how to add text, how to format text, how to add and remove links, and how to replace images. So the first thing, let's talk about the formatting of text. So obviously, first of all, any text you change here is just like a word processor. You type it in, it changes it. However, there's different headers on the page. So say we were looking to edit a page and we want to make a header for the entire page. Here is the hierarchy of different headers. When we're making a title of the page, which is on the top here, we use heading 2. What that does is it makes a large format text. You'll also see it in getting started here. We used it like that. If you're looking to make a subheader, a smaller header, we use heading 3. And that's something like the history, the Dauphin County Library System. The Dauphin County Library System is committed to. Things like that. The reason for this is it helps distinguish, and it looks better on the page. It helps distinguish what the title of the page is, and then where you are on the page. It's for the user's benefit, and it's also for your benefit, so you don't have to go in and change text sizes around. It just keeps a standard site-wide. So we're going to go in and we're going to add a section, and we are going to call it the history of the library. So I want to hit enter here, and then it's a subsection, so I'm going to use heading 3. If I were to make a new page called the history of the library, I'm using heading 2. However, we're doing it on the about page. I want a heading 3 because it's a subsection. So the history of the library, and don't forget, actually, we need to capitalize the library. So we hit so we want to space down from this, right? So what I want to do is I'll hit enter and it'll automatically go into paragraph format, which is called normal format up here. However, say we want just a single space, not a double space, we'll go back and we'll hit shift enter, and it's a single space, and it keeps the format of the line above it. But we don't want to do that right now, so I'll hit enter and I'll just write the library has a long esteemed history. And I'm going to go ahead and click save just to show what happened here. So it says a public page about the library tutorial has been updated. So refresh here. And there it is. There is the section that we just added. Crazy, right? Alright, so now, if you were to go in and you want to change the type of header from heading 3 to heading 2, maybe you choose the wrong thing, you just select it right there, and you'll see it changes the size, but we're going to keep it heading 3. I talked about spacing before, so we want to make a paragraph. We want to make a line underneath this, but not a new paragraph. I hit shift enter, and that'll make a single space underneath that, but then I want to start a new paragraph, so I hit enter, and it'll say double space, and I'll write enter, and for single space I'll write shift plus enter. So that should give you an idea. Most of the time I just use double spacing, but sometimes if there's a list or something like that, I'll use single space. So let's say we want to add a link. Let's imagine that we had a separate page for the history of the library. So I'm going to type view the library's history right here. And I want to make that a link. So what I'll do is I'll select it. See this little link icon here? You mouse over it, says link. Don't use the one on the right because that's actually for inserting files, and that's something that you don't really need to do or want to do, to be honest. So on the left here you'll see link. I'm going to click that. And you see add link. Now what you need to do, this is important. you can't just type dcls.org/whatever. You'll have to type https www dot and then type dcls.org. Otherwise, the link won't work correctly. It's not a very exciting explanation of why that happens. It's just a weird internet thing. So, you'll see you have the URL here. And say we want to link to a fictional page called dcls.org/history. So I wrote this entire URL. Remember, you have to put the www dot and the https in front of it. So there it is. And I click save. And voila, there it is. It's a link. So I'll click save here, and we'll take a look and refresh the page. And you can view the library's history, which, click it. This page doesn't exist because I didn't make it, but if it did exist, you would go to a page. But right now, it just automatically goes to a page not found. So that's how to add a link. And the last thing would be how to edit an image. So say we wanted to replace this image here, the Capital Area Library District logo. What I would do is, what I recommend is replacing it with an image around the same size, around the same proportions. This looks about 1 by 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find an image, just a placeholder image. It's a 1 by 1 square, a tiny little square. Let's use something a little bigger than that. Let's use this one. Let's pull it off Google. And I'm going to save it, and I'm going to save it 1 by 1 on the bottom, and it went in my save folder. So I'm going to right click on the image and click image properties, and you'll see everything, all this information here, and I'll go through it all. This is the image that's in there right now. If you were to click on that, you'll see a pop-up and a preview of it, but we want to remove that. So I'm going to click remove, and now there's nothing in there. So I could either drag this file into here, and that'll work, or I could choose a file and find it on my desktop. I'll do that. Alternative text is just the text that when you mouse over and a little, so basically, it won't work. It'll make me look dumb. Well, when you mouse over text, an image, sometimes you'll see a hover of text. Alternatively, when for accessibility reasons, somebody who might not be able to see the screen properly, they'll have software that reads the alternative text to them. So that's the use of alternative text. Right now it says a Capillary District logo. We'll keep it as it is. The align feature, keep that as it is. If you need to change that, I recommend putting in a website update form because it changes the way things work on the page. Caption doesn't really have a function with our setup right now. So click save. And there it is. It's a bigger image, so it kind of pushed everything over. If it doesn't look right, if it looks weird, and you think, oh boy, that's going to mess up the whole page, let me know and put in a website update request, and I'll make the change for you. But we'll put it in anyway as that huge image. So I click save, and we're going to refresh. And I'm not on the right page. There we go. So I'm going to refresh here, and you'll see that I replaced this. So pretty straightforward. It's not that hard to edit a page, but sometimes you might need some assistance, and I'm here to help. So hopefully that helped you find ways to do certain things on a page and make things, make minor changes, and just give you a little bit of a reference for how to do things like this.